Tonight, Bunnie Huang battles the man to publish his Xbox book. Plus, shoot up Leoville digitally with artist Burt Monroy. And the high-tech safety of the Indianapolis Motor Speedway. Live from the Tech TV studios in San Francisco, it's the Screensavers!
Welcome to the Screensavers. I'm Patrick Doherty.
And I'm Leo Laporte. Thank you so much for being here. Welcome to the show. We're the hosts that here to make you the geeks you've always wanted to be. And if you're already a geek, well, we're just going to enhance the geeklitude with your daily dose of coolest tech stuff out there. First, let's discuss our picks from the daily news bag.
The news.
This is an amazing story.
You know, it sounds just like from a few years ago.
Used to happen all the time. Benchmarks, of course, are synthetic programs that are designed to test hardware, computers, video cards, sound cards. And benchmarks have always been kind of what reviewers and even consumers use to decide what the fastest video card is, the fastest computer is. Now, there's a well-known benchmark, we've talked about it many times, from a company called FutureMark, called Mad Onion. Or actually 3D Mark. It was Mad Onion, and now FutureMark's they changed their name back to FutureMark. And this is the benchmark that is used by everybody to measure video cards. Well, according to the Register, which is, of course, the great English IT kind of, I don't know, what would you call it? The National Enquirer of
high
IT.
tech.
They've discovered that ATI, in fact, ATI has admitted it, tweaked its Catalyst drivers for its newest batch of video cards to generate better numbers.
Now, what ATI is saying, ATI is very sensitive because they got caught tweaking some benchmarks.
They said we weren't cheating.
They weren't cheating. They were optimizing the best mark to best, produce the best results for the particular engine. But
I have to say that an optimization for a benchmark is not what the user wants. The user wants an optimization for Unreal Tournament.
But it's okay if, like, if Carmack tweaks for Quake 3, it's okay. But if ATI tweaks for Quake 3, it's wrong.
No, that's different. Are they tweaking for Quake 3 or are they tweaking for the benchmark?
In this case, the benchmark, but they said they followed the absolute letter of the law to how it was supposed to be executed, and they did not reduce the quality of the test that was running, unlike NVIDIA, who's been...
NVIDIA did the same thing, it turned out.
They were testing, basically they were looking for the name of the benchmark. When they found it, they threw some tweaks in there.
So that's what NVIDIA did.
Better performance.
ATI did not do that?
It's splitting hairs. I think NVIDIA was a little more... From what I've read so far, not
a little more aggressive.
Egregious. I think.
Do we show the difference, the shots? Because you can see the difference in rendering. This is rendered incorrectly, and then rendered correctly. You see that? You see that difference? There's a huge difference.
Less work, faster frame rates.
There's a big difference. They're doing less work, so of course it's a lot faster. In any event, it just casts, unfortunately, a shadow of a doubt on the value of these benchmark programs.
It's always the issue whenever you're testing. There's always an opportunity that somebody might tweak their driver to produce better scores, even though they're not producing real, visible performance.
Right.
I don't know. Anyhow, according to CNET, this is perky news. Chipmakers Advanced Micro Devices, that's AMD to you and me, and Intel dropped their processor prices over the weekend.
Their processor prices?
Their processor pieces.
All right.
Pieces to pieces. Processors. Anyhow, Intel dropped the Celeron about 18% all the way across the line, and apparently AMD followed suit with cuts as much as 35% on the AMD Athlon processors.
Well, who buys a Celeron?
Well, a lot of people. Actually, most of the sub-1000 computers and almost all of the... If you look at the shelves, there's a ton of sub-500, sub-750 PCs with Celeron processors out there. I agree. Would you do the facial? Could we get a shot of this?
I think they got it.
Skip the Celeron. That's the face when you see Celeron. Go for an Athlon XP.
Especially if AMD dropped the price across the board, which is great.
Which also makes them more competitive with the high-end Pentium 4 chips. Which we like.
One last story, and I love this. Actually, maybe Bunnie be interested in this. According to the BBC,
this is great.
Scientists at the U.S. National Center for Supercomputing Applications, the NCSA, the folks who gave us Mosaic.
Yeah, the folks that brought you the browser.
Have linked together 70 PlayStation 2s to make a supercomputer. 70 video game boxes to make one super computer that's actually a test.
Yeah.
Some of the limitations, there's only 32 megs of RAM, blah, 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 blah. However, I think it's probably true that for many people, the console gaming system, whether it's an Xbox or a PS2 in their living room, is faster than their PC.
Well, it depends. If in an Xbox, if you've got a 2 gigahertz system,
is a pretty. But if you have a 2 gigahertz, but how many people have that Celeron that they paid $1,000 for? Our question of the day for you: be honest.
Which is more powerful, your PC or your gaming console?
I bet you 50%.
Yeah.
If they're really honest. But really, your games are much more demanding than your Excel spreadsheets or your word processor.
And we should double check to make sure on the website that it's game box or console.
We say console. So that could be PS2, that could be Xbox, PS1. If your PC isn't as fast as your PS1, time to get a new PC.
No, DOS is great. I love DOS. Go vote at thescreensavers.com and don't forget to post your opinions in the talkback section. The really obnoxious ones, we'll ignore.
Did you have a good 3-day weekend? You were gone for a week.
I was gone for like 5 days.
Where'd you go?
I went to Utah.
Southern
Utah, outside of Moab.
You drove?
Drove.
And you brought, and we're going to talk about it later this week, you brought XM and Sirius with you.
Yes.
Satellite radios.
Yes, I've tested XM and Sirius radio in full digital territory, Highway 50, loneliest highway in America. Yeah.
Good.
I have taken the XM and Sirius test.
Later this week, we'll be showing those results. Really? Yeah. Don't tell anybody.
I'm not telling anybody anything.
Michael on the line from Waterloo, Ontario, Canada. Hello, Michael.
Hi, Pat and Leo. How are you guys?
We're great. Welcome to the show.
Oh, glad to be here.
Well, we're glad to have you.
Well, I got a question for you.
Yes.
I got a small little computer repair business, and I often have quite a few computers all hooked up to the same keyboard and monitor.
Oh, neat. You have a KVM switch?
Yep. Right now I got a 8-port KVM switch.
That's what we use here.
It's actually a KVUM, because it's got the USB support.
We got a big Omni MiniView 8E, but it's an 8-port, and this is a 4-port.
And a lot of cookies and makeup.
Yeah, you really don't move that screen. It's disgusting.
Sorry about your earpiece.
But the idea is you can plug in up to, in your case, 8 computers. This is a 4-port.
Yeah.
What happens?
Keyboard, video, keyboard, mouse, and video. Yeah.
And what happens is, as you probably know, whenever you're installing Windows on 3 or 4 different computers and downloads and stuff, what happens is I got to switch back from each computer, right?
Right.
And it gets to be a bit of a pain.
Yes.
So it'd be nice to do kind of like a picture-in-picture if I could, so I can quick take a look at, say, computer 4 and see how far, say, the Windows install is.
That's a neat idea.
Instead of having to do a complete switch to that computer.
When you say, I mean, because right now a complete switch to that computer, if it's plugged into the KVM, you should just hit the button.
Yeah, or you can do like on mine, I do scroll
but he would like to have,
or whatever.
Yeah, he would like to have the main thing he's working on here and then a little window down here showing computer 2, or maybe even a row of windows.
About the only thing we've seen that can do that, because that's usually a function, you'd either need a pricey external box. I'm trying to poke my ear thing back in here, folks. I'm not quite as gross as I look.
What are you doing? What's the problem?
My earpiece came
out.
out.
His brains are gone.
My brains leaked out. But the problem is the picture-in-picture is almost always a function of the television, and almost never do you see it in a computer monitor. Some of the Samsung flat panels we've seen will have a picture-in-picture, but still you got to figure out a way to switch between those, right? You only have, how do you switch the input off the KVM into the back of the TV/monitor?
I'm searching because I think that's a great idea, and I would love to find it. I bet you somebody's...
I was kind of curious because I saw on sometimes on Call for Help and on not so much on this show, but when you switch, it seems like it pops up and gives you an option to pick through a few different computers or something.
That's Oscar.
Yeah.
And that's a little different. And part of the reason that that's going on, remember, this is a television station. So we're doing, a lot of times when you see what looks like a computer monitor, you're actually seeing television, you know, a monitor routed through TV. In that case, on Call for Help, we have one box called Oscar that everything goes into, and then we are allowed to choose different computers. But it's kind of like a soft KVM.
Yeah, it is a soft KVM. Essentially, instead of reaching up and hitting a button, you hit a key combination and then choose which you want. It's nice if you don't want your hands to leave the keyboard.
Well, other than that, the KVM I've got, I can hit scroll lock a few times and the up key, and then it switches between the computers. But
look, I found Kevin's monster machine with his picture-in-picture, because he had picture-in-picture when but that was done with
separate inputs
that was done with video.
Into the video. Yeah. It's a great idea. I don't think there's any hardware out there that's really designed to implement it right.
Send us an email if anybody's got you get what we want. We want a KVM switch that when you're on one main screen, you can see one of the other, or maybe all of the other screens in little inset boxes. It doesn't seem like that'd be too hard to
What
do.
if you could stack 2 KVMs and route 1 and 2?
What do you think, Kevin?
Well, you need a picture-in-picture monitor.
He's not mic'd. Go ahead, just do it in sign language.
We'll get back to you.
This is the universal sign. I don't know. Don't go anywhere after slamming into walls at 200 miles an hour. Drivers live. Learn the technology behind safety at the Indy 500. And after the break, the man wouldn't publish his book about hacking, so he did it himself. Bunnie Huang, the Xbox hacker, is back with a new book when the screensavers return. Our next guest was one of the in fact, probably the first guy to hack the Xbox, at least publicly. He even got permission from Microsoft to do it. And then, Wiley & Sons, a publisher, came to him. I probably shouldn't say the name, and I'm in trouble now, but came to him and said, write a book about that. He did. And then they chickened out. So what do you do? Hey, he did it himself. Author of a new book, self-published, Hacking the Xbox. We welcome back Bunnie Huang. It's great to have you back, Bunnie.
It's great to be back.
So you were at MIT when you initially hacked the Xbox.
Right, that's right.
And again, with Microsoft's permission.
Yeah.
What happened now? And we had you on. What happened after that?
Well, after that, pretty much. I mean, a lot of people. It became a very popular topic.
You can buy mod chips.
You can buy mod chips and all that sort of
stuff. Are they
stuff.
using the same hacks that you basically discovered?
They have new hacks now, actually.
Really?
They're a little more legal, have a little different spin to it, and they're very clever.
Are you impressed with what they did? These mod chip
these guys are very, very, very smart guys, and they know what they're doing. So I talked to a couple of them early on and sort of discussed a couple ideas, and it's pretty neat to see what people can come up with.
Have you overstepped the bounds of what Microsoft said you could do at this point?
I don't think so. No, not at all.
You better keep saying that, right? Have you heard from Microsoft in any way?
I have not, actually, not directly.
So publishers came to you and said, we should do a book.
Yeah, that's right.
Did you write the whole book at that point?
Yeah, I did. What happened is they came to me last November, and they wanted to do a book on Xbox hacking, and I said, okay, came with an outline, and I wrote it, poured my heart and soul into it, had no Christmas break at all.
Oh, man.
And then in mid-February, after I handed in the final manuscript,
they read it.
They came back and said a week later, sorry, we're not going to do this.
And why not?
Because the lawyer said that they thought it was too risky for a lawsuit and the DMCA. In particular, a book like this might be construed as a tool of circumvention, which is illegal.
Under the Digital Millennium Copyright Act.
That's right. That's right. And then Wiley could be responsible for an enormous number of fines because every copy of the book distributed some thousands of dollars of fine or something.
Obviously, you don't feel the same way because you've gone ahead and published it and you're selling it on your website.
Right.
You don't fear that you could be sued by with the DMCA?
I don't. I mean, this book is. I'm very this is an educational book about reverse engineering.
Yeah, somebody's not going to look. You can go if you want to hack the Xbox, and for $20 buy a mod chip online. You're not going to buy this book and figure out how to do it and solder your own chip.
Yeah, right. And so this is more of a book about learning about the way to think about things. It's a very important skill. A lot of in the industry, it's very common to take someone else's design and to take the top off the chip and see how they did it.
That's how you learn.
That's how you learn.
Everybody learns.
Everybody learns. And so this is a book about how do you go about doing that, how you think about it, and how can you go ahead and, if a new version of Xbox came out, how would you approach it? Right?
Well, when we had you on, and it must be almost a year ago, that was the thing that most intrigued me, was it was a cat and mouse game. All the stuff Microsoft had put in there to keep somebody from from using the Xbox as they wanted, and then you had to think it out, and you solved all these little puzzles and problems. I think that's fascinating.
Yeah, it was a lot of fun. I mean, it was a great diversion for my thesis.
Hey, anything is a great diversion for your thesis. So this is the day today that this goes on sale.
Yep, I'm launching it today.
Where can people go to buy it?
www.hackingthexbox.com.
Okay, there's the website. Good looking site too.
Thanks.
Blueprint look.
Nikki designed the cover.
Let's
and the
give
website.
credit to Nikki. Who's Nikki?
She's my fiance.
Well, there you go. Hey. You're marrying wisely, I can tell, Bunnie. And how much is the book if people buy it online?
It's $24.99, but viewers of Tech TV can put in the coupon code segment Tech TV, all one word, lowercase, and get 20% off the book.
Oh, great.
Yep.
So use the coupon code Tech TV.
Yeah, TCHTV, all lowercase.
Okay. That's very nice of you. So now we should talk about what you did just briefly in hacking the Xbox. The idea is the Xbox is designed for one thing only, to play licensed video games from Microsoft.
That's right.
You were able to reverse engineer that so that you could do what?
So you can run any code you want on
like
the Xbox.
Linux?
Like Linux, if you want to. You could use it as a toaster controller if you wanted to, control your lights or your house, whatever you want to do. I mean,
it's a computer.
PC. It's a PC, right? And so, yeah, there's a cryptographic sequence in there that locks it down. And
right.
My original contribution was to extract the key that was used to encrypt the boot sequence.
Because Microsoft didn't really do as good a job as they could have.
Well,
now I'm curious, have they revved it? Have they changed
it? They've revved it several times.
To try to get around your...
To try, partially because of that. I mean, if there's a statement by NVIDIA at some point in time where they actually point a finger at a guy from MIT.
Some guy.
Some guy from MIT.
We had to change it because of... And what do you think in version 2? Are they going to completely do a whole new scheme?
I've heard rumors that they're going to try and make it smaller and cheaper, which is very wise of them. I mean, I think they're losing too much money on it right now.
How many copies of this have you sold to the Microsoft.com domain? That's my question. Quite a few, I'm guessing.
Actually, yeah.
Can you check your logs? Yeah, I thought you might have.
I've been looking. And,
hey, Bunnie.
They can't say they don't know about it.
I commend you on your bravery. I think you're absolutely right. This is the kind of thing that not only is defensible legally, but is important to get this information out there. I hope a publisher comes to you and says, you know, because you had the guts to do this, we feel we can do it too, and we're going to take it up.
Actually, a couple publishers have approached me.
Good.
So I'm looking forward to actually getting out of my hands soon.
How's it been self-publishing? Has it been an interesting experience?
It's been very interesting. I mean,
you did a great job.
Went through the whole thing, like incorporation to the printing to the e-commerce website, everything like that. It's been actually a huge learning experience, and also learning about the whole business and things like that.
It's a great book. You did a great job.
Thanks. Yeah. I mean, I'm glad you enjoy it.
Yeah. Well, I'm glad you wrote it. And Bunnie, I'm glad you're not in prison yet. Thank you for being thank you for being here. Whew, so far so good anyway. And for the $20 coupon to Tech TV viewers,
20%.
20%. I'm sorry, $20 would be a little more than you really wanted to do. Go to thescreensavers.com. The details are there, and we link to Bunnie's site. Now, real quickly, we were talking about that KVM question we had. You said it'd probably be possible to build such a thing.
Yeah, it certainly would be. You need a frame buffer, and you'd have to have some sync detectors, and you'd also have the DAC on the other side.
So it's doable, but
doable, bit of circuitry.
And expensive.
I bet someone has it, but you could probably build it yourself too if you're motivated. So
that's maybe his next book, ladies and gentlemen. Picture-in-Picture KVMs by Bunnie Huang. I don't think that'll sell quite as well. Thank you, Bunnie. We appreciate it.
Thank you very much.
Get the book. Go to the website, hackingthexbox.com. Stay put, folks. Our favorite Photoshop expert is here to astound us with a speeding bullet effect. And up next, the technology that helps race car drivers walk away from nasty crashes like that. When we come back in 2.5 minutes. Stay right here. Welcome back to the Screensavers. The Indy 500, of course, finished this past weekend for the 30th consecutive year without a fatality. That's pretty good, isn't it?
No, that's real good. I mean,
Unusual.
Fatalities aren't good for the sport because as the stars, you want them to come back and race again.
There were accidents, though.
There were accidents. There's always accidents, but everyone was safe. Everyone walked away.
That's great. Now, you were just there.
Yeah, I was there on pole day. We had a chance to take a look at, kind of the technology behind the scenes and put together a pretty cool package. It's pretty informative.
The safety
and
wall.
Well, it's all about the safety. This one is just all about the safety.
Let's check it out.
Hey, we're here up on top of the pagoda on the 9th floor. This is pole day, and this just goes to illustrate how much the safety crews really work. Accident happened just behind us. They were there within 20 seconds, flat. If you look at the accident there, you'll see the foam. That's energy dispersion foam, and it probably saved the guy's life right there. I'm here in race control at the Indianapolis Motor Speedway with Kevin Forbes, who's the Director of Engineering, and tell us a little about what goes on here.
Well, really, race control is that one location at any racetrack where the race is actually officiated from. It's also where we dispatch fire and rescue personnel in the case of an incident of wall contact on the racetrack. And so from this one position is where basically everything that takes place on our 2.5-mile stage is gauged from.
Here in Indiana, it rains a lot. When it rains, they got to dry off the track. They got a lot of really good equipment to help dry off the track. They also say that if you wait 5 minutes, the wear they'll change. I don't think I'm going to wait 5 minutes. So, can you tell us a little bit about the new SAFER system, which I believe stands for Steel and Foam Energy Reduction?
Energy reduction system, yes. The teams are saying, well, now we think at this point we've done everything we can with the race cars. Is there anything that you can do with the racetrack wall? And so for the last several years, we're trying to find a way to lessen the severity or to somehow absorb the energy from the impact of a race car. So what we've been working on over the past several years, and primarily developed by the researchers at the University of Nebraska, was a whole system, system of steel tubes that were backed by styrofoam panels. And as the car impacts the steel tubes provide that rigidity that is needed so that the car can't pocket or dig into. The foam is what's actually moving or giving and absorbing that energy. And so hence the term steel and foam energy reduction system. It's an entire system. It's not a barrier. It's not a wall. It's a device that basically gives with the car so that as movement occurs, then there is this energy reduction. Once a section of safer barrier or safer system is damaged, we simply disengage these fingers. We pull out a section of this system, drop a new one in, and re-engage the fingers. If one wall section is engaged, that movement is completely transferred into all the adjacent sections. It has to accommodate very low angles of impact.
What you see here is a result of the technology that this track uses. All the stuff the safety crew uses, that the officials use, that the production facilities use. This is what helps save these drivers.
That was the first time that particular section had been hit.
That section coming into pit lane, that was the first time they had a new system that was a little wider, more, different kind of foam. That was the first time it had been crash tested.
And you just happened to be standing there when that happened.
Full race speed. It was during qualifying.
Man. But it's really amazing that they were able to find a way to actually make this, and no fatalities in 30 years.
None.
That's remarkable. Yoshi, good job. You obviously had fun. We'll send you back next year. And this time you're going for the race, dude.
Oh, I'm being at the race no matter what. Are you kidding me?
Maybe we'll get a camera there with you, too. More details, additional specifications about how that safer barrier works in Yoshi's article at thescreensavers.com. Thanks, Yoshi. Coming up now, our little downloader herself. It's Sarah Lane. Hello.
Hello, all. Are you a Microsoft hater? Do you get annoyed with Internet Explorer? I do. Are you frustrated by its limitations or you just want to stick it to Bill Gates? If you answered yes to one or all of these questions, I have some better browsing alternatives. Now, before we get started, this isn't really a war against Microsoft. Everybody loves Microsoft because the browsers I'm showing you actually run on the IE engine, but they still have more creative features. And I'm a fan of supporting the little guys. All right, let's take a look at Slim Browser here. This looks a lot like Internet Explorer, but it's tabbed browsing. Everybody likes tabbed browsing. I know I do. I just find it easier to navigate. I've got Leoville open, my blog, screensavers. Now, if you go up here, there's some fun stuff like there's skins. I've got quite a few skins I can select. Let's just select Red Hat Linux. Ooh, changes things a little bit. People like the way that it looks. What it'll do is it'll import the favorites that you have from IE right over, So I've got some bookmarks here that came from IE. It'll just come right over, so will your internet options. In fact, I have IE running also here at the same time. So a couple people have emailed me saying, well, can you run them at the same time? Are they going to, mess each other up? No, not at all. It's basically part of IE. It just looks different. Now, what's kind of nice also is these languages. You can translate using Google, Babelfish. Look up in a variety of dictionaries, change your interface language. This doesn't actually change the website, but it just changes like up at the file menu, file, edit, view, favorites will be in Hungarian if you'd like them to be. It's stuff that you can get in IE. It's just sort of, I just like the drop-down menus better. With groups, this is a feature that I really like. Usually when I start opening up my browser, I just want to go to the same 4 news sites. I've got news.com, Salon, SFGate, and /dot, so I can be like up with all the nerds. It'll open them all at the same time. And I just find that more convenient than opening them one at a time. We've got some shortcuts to my desktop, my computer, documents, pictures, all stuff that you can get from the start menu, but it's just a better alternative. Different tools, tools that go beyond internet options, like I can choose to empty my cache every time I exit or something like that. I've got the link online. There are a lot of other features of some browser with a browser called MyIE2. That's also at the website. You can set up groups like news or blog groups to open along startup. Along with internet options, you have MyIE2 options, so you can add rules to always clean your cache, blah, blah, blah. I already said that. Anyway, if you go to my download the link is at thescreensavers.com. You have now 2 browsers that work better than IE, in my opinion, and maybe yours too. So check them out, then add your comments to my talkback section at the bottom of the page. As always, email me your download suggestions. I'm the browsing wench, Sarah, at
techtv.com. Browsing wench.
I thought I would be a browsing wench
today.
That's
good.
I love that word.
Slim wench or browsing?
Wench.
Yeah.
Wench.
Slim browser and
Slim
IE2.
My IE2.
My IE2. Cool.
Yeah, both are at the article.
Thank you, Sarah Lane.
Thank you.
Back to us.
Browsing wench, 2 words my mother never thought I'd say on television. Don't go anywhere. This program is going to make your computer take a TiVo or a replay TV head on and maybe kick it to you know what.
That's what a librarian would be, as a browsing wench, wouldn't it?
Interesting thought.
Yes.
Up next, learn how to create your own speeding bullet with digital artist Burt Monroy. But first, get web savvy with Jessica's latest tip.
Hey guys, now I know you can't retain everything, and that's a lot, everything we say in our shows. So go to our website and get our newsletter. Look, you want to get upcoming events, links to previous shows, and most important, gossip on your favorite screensaver. Like how Kevin's ants escaped from the ant farm and came into my cube. It's all on the website. Go to screensavers.com.
Welcome back to the Screensavers. I'm Leo Laporte. Coming up in this half hour, TiVo with your computer. Can it be done? Patrick will show us. Plus, stick around to find out how to convert an internal CD drive to an external CD drive. We're always happy when our friend Burt Monroy stops by. Last time he was here, well, you started a tip, and then we really didn't get to.
Yeah, we ran out of time. You had a cake coming out there.
A cake celebrating your second year with us.
That's right, second anniversary, yeah.
And 28th or 30th episode, something like that. 30th episode, all right.
Well, here's the thing. I got a lot of emails, people saying, I'd still like to see the bullet hole thing. I want to see it
Yeah,
on
you just
screen.
kind of referred to it. We showed it on the website.
I gave them the thing, but now what we're going to do is we're going to do it live here.
So we have the sign entering
Leoville.
Leoville. Now, no sign in the West survives intact without a few shotgun
I've noticed
holes.
that. I've noticed that. So the first thing I'm going to do is, there's little rivets. In a layer, I have these little rivets.
Now, that's just to give the sign some reality.
Yeah, I'm going to come in closer so you can see what happens. It's going to attach them to that pole you see at the bottom down there.
Okay.
Right? So I'm going to double click on it to bring up the good old layer styles. And I'm going to give them a little tiny drop shadow, just a little bit of a drop shadow back there. And then bevel and emboss. That's going to be the one that gives me that look. See, there's that three-dimensional look.
They really do look like rivets now.
Now, I go into my blending options, and I pull back the fill opacity. That's the red. So if I pull that back, if I pull back opacity, the whole layer is going to get transparent.
But red is the fill.
Red is the fill, so bringing back the full...
Oh, that's handy.
See, it leaves the effects intact, but everything else goes away.
I was going to say red doesn't seem like the best choice for rivets, but you didn't care.
No, because it's going to go away. And there's the little rivets.
Because it's fill opacity, you still have the
I still have the shape.
The contour.
Yeah. Now, here's the bullet holes. Another layer with a bunch of little red guys. All right?
Okay.
So let's get in closer to this. And I just went in there and got everybody
got too close.
Lost.
You zoomed right in. There we go.
Okay, so let's get in a little closer and we see what happens. 2D bullet holes, I'm going to do the same effect. I'm going to go into bevel and emboss, but instead I'm going to use an outer bevel. See?
So instead of it coming up, it's going to go in.
In, right.
Oh, it's not. It's in the outside. It's puckered, really.
Right. Now I'm going to go in there and increase the size a little. But you see how they look like they're sticking out just like that other thing.
They still are sticking out.
So I need to change the light source. But watch what happens when I change the light source. See how the rivet changed also?
Oh, that's bad.
That's because right now we have global lighting, which is going to affect all the layers.
Okay.
No matter what I did in one layer, it's going to affect all the layers.
Okay.
So if I turn that off and now change the lighting, it's going to create the effect to make them look like they're indented.
Normally, you'd want global lighting because the sun's always coming from the same place. So if you had...
But in this case, since it's going in, I need to
that's how you
show
make
a different lighting.
Innie instead of outie.
Here I will also get rid of the red. Get rid of it there. Click OK. Then finally, I turn it into a selection there, and then go to the layer that has the line.
Slow down, dude. How'd you do just the select of those?
I did a command click on that layer that had the holes. And it automatically turns all the pixels into a selection.
Whoa, that's by itself worth its weight in gold. All right.
So now that they're selected, I go into the layer that has the sign, and I hit delete, and they go away.
You took away the, and of course it's blue behind the sign.
And so there's all the little bullet holes that's deselected, and there you see the holes. Now, we're going to do a prequel. I'm going to show the bullet that made all these little holes.
How do we get there? Okay.
Yeah. Now, hopefully we'll have enough time for this one this time.
How much time do we have, Heather? 3 minutes? Can you do it in 3 minutes?
Real fast. Okay, here's the bullet.
There's the bullet.
It's in its own layer, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to duplicate that real fast. And if you don't bother me, I'll get it done in 3 minutes.
All right, I'm not going to say a word.
Filter, and I say motion blur. Motion blur. I don't know why I keep looking up there.
Okay.
And I'm going to push that way over so I get a really long streak. Right? Click OK. And I get this little streak, which is totally not visible on the screen here, but we'll just move it back like this.
There
straight
it is.
back.
Oh,
and
that's neat.
I'll duplicate it so we have two of them so it'll get a little
That's
stronger.
motion
There we
blur.
go. Now we see
Okay.
it. Now, in a new layer, I'm going to go in here and create the blast from the gun. So I get my little pen tool, and I'm going to click and drag right here centered, and I'll hold down my shift key to constrain it, and I pull out this little handle. I come over here and I click and I drag this way, so I get this long kind of a top of a teardrop shape.
Yeah.
And there's where we lose our time because I'm in the wrong guy over here. Okay.
Oh, see, it wasn't my fault this time,
It wasn't
Bert.
your fault.
You
The
can't
machine was
blame
set
me,
up in
buddy.
a different way. All right, now I go back to where it started from, and I hold down my Option key, so I am creating a whole new point, and there we have this shape, right?
So you basically created kind of a spade shape coming out of the gun.
Teardrop sideways
Teardrop,
and so
okay.
on. So I now go into my paths, which is where that thing is, and I say make selection.
Yes.
All right, now give it a big feather of about, let's say 50. That's going to give it a big feather.
So it'll be a
and
softer edge.
Real soft edge. And make
Okay.
sure I'm in that right layer, and I'm going to fill that with that bright red.
Whoa! Ooh, that looks good.
Now I'm going to go in there to that path again,
Yeah.
and notice since I have the path tool selected, when I come up here to my edits, it says transform path.
Yes.
See, so I go in there and I scale it down. So I'm going to scale it down just a little bit, like so, and pull it in here like that, and let that happen. And I go in there and make that a selection real fast. Except I'm going to bring that down to about 30%.
A little less feather, all right.
And then we'll get a bright yellow and fill that with the yellow.
Ooh.
Okay, so we're getting there. You know what? There's a white that goes in there, but
I don't think we need the white.
We
It
don't
looks
need the white.
great. What do you
So what I'm
think?
going to do right here is just give it the final touch, which is create a new layer, bring this back to a black and white, and use a little guy here called under render. We have clouds, which is going to give me clouds.
Oh
right there.
boy, now we got a problem.
No.
No?
Here's the problem. We fix it real quick. We put that in screen, which means only the white tones are going to show
Ooh,
through.
there's
and
your
then I
smoke.
get my eraser, and I'm going to just get rid of some of this stuff out here, and just pull this in like that.
That's the
and I
smoke.
get this little smoke.
Look at that. Pull back on the full shot. You'll see this is a beautiful looking gunshot.
There we go. Just
And that's how Leoville got all shot up, ladies and gentlemen.
There it is.
It's just that simple. Bert Monroy, you did it.
And I made it in time, didn't I?
In time.
Yeah, good.
2 in 1, too.
All right.
Thank you, Bert. The book Photoshop Studio is a must-have for anybody who's interested in Photoshop techniques for fine art or even for photo retouching, because you learn so much from it.
And this one's on your site.
And this one's on the site at thescreensavers.com. And, of course, Bert's website is bertmonroy.com. You can email him there, too, right?
That's
Bert
it.
at bertmonroy.com for step-by-step instructions, as Bert said. We have it at our website, because we know we go very fast on these. But it's just so fun to see him work, isn't it? Thank you, Bert. Good job.
My pleasure.
Take care. Stay where you are, folks. If you want to make your internal CD drive an external CD drive, so does our next caller, and we'll tell him how, and you too. But first, if your Windows PC has a TV tuner card, don't buy one of those digital video recorders until you see this next segment. We're going to TiVo your PC after a quick break. Don't forget to register for this week's Screensavers LAN party.
Powered by NVIDIA.
The game is EA's Battlefield 1942 Desert Combat, which is the mod we played last week. A lot of fun. It's modernized.
Race truck?
You're no longer playing World War II. You could drive an M1A1 Abrams. You could pilot an Apache gunship, even an F-15. The latest military hardware. Desert Combat does require a full version of Battlefield 1942. You got to buy it. So go to our website, click on Join the LAN Party. To register, you must register to play, and of course we have links there to download the mod you need to start now, because it's a big mod. And we will see you Thursday for our big party here.
Yeah.
So I have a TiVo. You know I love the TiVo.
I have a TiVo.
Constantly are asked, though, why should I get a TiVo if I can use a computer?
Right.
To do, it's just a computer.
Or especially a lot of people are like, I want to get the video off of my TiVo or off of my replay TV. I want to move it onto my system either because the hard drives are bigger or so you can burn it to DVD.
And you wouldn't have to if you were using your system to do this.
Exactly.
So we're gonna
enter Snapstream Personal Video Station 3.0.
Okay.
The product's been around for a while, earlier versions. This one is actually going to be released Thursday.
Oh.
You can go up to the website
Brand
and order
new
it now.
version.
Brand new, but we're going to click this up into full screen. And we're going to launch that. And it's going to show us a menu, unless it crashes. There we go. And
is it
guess
kind of
what?
crashy? Have you found it to be less reliable?
No, you're just
you know paranoid.
What? On the way back from Colorado. Wrong channel.
No, it is. It's our channel, but it's mirroring. Quick, get off. Change the channel. Quick. Yeah. Oh,
that's so
no,
scary.
You broke it. It's
I
the
hope not.
Huleys.
But I should point out the cable inside of our building is truly.
This isn't its fault.
Truly awful. This is not.
Yu-Gi-Oh! I love Yu-Gi-Oh!
So we can actually get something to play there. There we go.
But
the idea, though, is it's similar. The remote control, it's a $50 piece of software if you buy it in the first month. After the first month or whenever they decide to up the price.
Does it come with that?
That's the thing. It's an a la carte setup. If you already own a remote control, you don't have to buy one. But it's
a computer remote is
computer remote. And there's ones that'll work with this, and there's also a select group of capture cards. It's a pretty big group, but you'll need a capture card inside of your system, and you're going to need a remote control if you want to use it with a remote control.
And a big hard drive, right? How big a hard drive do I need?
Well, it depends on how much video you want to record. Right. You're talking about anywhere from around 800 megabytes, 700 or 800 megabytes for the basic quality, up to 1.5 gigabytes for the best quality.
Per hour.
Per hour. But you're also talking about a system that can actually record your shows directly into an MPEG-2 compatible format for DVD in low quality or high quality. So, I mean, basically, if you're familiar with the TiVo, the idea is pretty similar. You go in, you've got a program guide, you can select shows.
Where does it get the program guide?
They actually, what's really cool is you don't have to pay a monthly fee. Once you bought it, it'll automatically download the program guide over the web. So you're going to need web access for that. So you can go through and, of course, you can record all episodes, record particular, the latest, the newest ones, and it goes through.
It's pretty much functionally the same as a TiVo, would you say?
Very, 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 funny, right down to the little noises, wouldn't you say?
It does sound a little TiVo-esque, yeah.
Yeah, we're going to exit full screen this mode. The only thing I found really annoying or frustrating, or the one thing I thought was missing, and they tell me they're going to add this after they release 3.0 and they start working on improvements, is that if you want to search to add a show, you are actually going to have to go into the web interface here. Well, they don't have, what they have to do is program a keyboard system into there. So you're going to launch this, and I'm going to launch into here.
So you're actually on their site now.
Yeah, well, what's cool about this is that you can actually, if you're in the middle of nowhere and you're like, oh, I forgot to record The Simpsons, I can log into this remotely from anywhere. Good. You've done that on your TiVo, but it required a fair amount of hacking.
It did.
It did.
This is nice. Yeah.
So if I want to go in here and say, oh, John Wayne, I can search actors, I can search titles.
One of the the big issues with this always was you can have the software, but then the hardware, getting the hardware all to work right is tricky. Is this do a pretty good job with the video cards?
It does a pretty good job with the video card. They will. You can buy it bundled with a hot plug video card. You can use it with your own.
Does it do the MPEG encoding in software, or do you have to have an MPEG-2 encoding?
It does the MPEG. It's my understanding it does the MPEG encoding in software.
Wow, that's pretty impressive.
I'm not positive, but they they say you should have at least a 733 megahertz Pentium 3. They recommend you have like a 1.4 gigahertz Pentium 4.
Sounds like software encoding.
Yeah, this is a situation where the more hardware you can throw at it, the faster the processor, the better it's going to do.
So how much is the software?
$50 for the software if you buy it in the first month.
Cheaper than a TiVo.
Well, yeah, and there's no monthly fee. If you're going to buy the tuner card or remote control and the software from them, you're going to spend somewhere between $130 to $180, while the software is cheap, going up to about $230 to $280.
Are there other programs like this?
There are, but the only way you'll find out is if you go to the website. You'll find the link to a piece of software that a viewer told us about. Neither one of us had ever heard of. We're going to check that out in the future and tell you all about how it works.
Yeah, we said we were going to do this, and the viewer wrote in. I thank you for doing that, by the way, and said, have you checked this out? And we will, and we'll review it. But what I like about this is for $50, I can get a lot of the functionality of a TiVo or the Windows Media Edition.
$50. If you have a tuner card.
Oh, yeah. I got a little hardware, and then I have to get a remote control.
If you want to be able to control it from across the room.
Never mind.
Let's check in with Sumi Das and find out what's coming up tonight on Fresh Gear.
Patrick, I got a question for you.
Yo.
Here's what I want to be able to do with my TiVo. I want to be able to call up from my phone and program in a recording.
I got a perfect solution for you. It's only going to take 4 years. It's called having children. That's why Dad had me, because they didn't have remote controls in the early 70s. He told me that till I was 14 years old.
Change your TV, Patrick.
4 years.
Change your channel.
Yeah, it might take a little bit longer than that. But anyway, I digress. Getting to tonight's show, I did something new this weekend. I played golf for the first time on a course.
Wow.
I've been going out to the driving range a lot. I'm really, really terrible. I don't know if you guys are golfers.
I score in the low 270s for a round of 9 holes.
I don't even know what that means. But 9 holes is too much for me. I want to do like 4 holes, maybe max, I think. But anyway, tonight we've got a story from Jim Goldman about Shaft Lab. And basically what this technology does, this company does, is it analyzes your golf swing and it determines which is the best golf shaft, like the flex of the shaft of the golf club.
We're with you. Yeah, the part between the grip and the head.
Exactly. Well, anyway, I'm figuring that any technology that will help me get a hole-in-one is a good one.
As a high-tech guy for 35 years here in the Silicon Valley, first I said it's about time technology hit golf.
Okay, why don't you step over here?
To get started, golfers swing this special wired club, 8,000 sensors packed inside the shaft to get a good flex measurement.
The clubs are so sensitive that if we took them outside, you can actually see the vibration from the wind.
The data from the club shows exactly how the shaft flexes through a swing, determining how rigid a golfer's clubs ought to be.
I need to try that out, I think. Yeah, cool. My game needs a lot of help. But anyway, catch the story tonight on Fresh Gear at 8:30 and again on Thursday at 8:30 p.m.
Excellent.
Great. Thank you, Sumi.
Thanks, guys.
Watch tonight. Well, Sumi gets the shaft, 8:30 Eastern on Tech Live.
You said that. Don't go away. Ricardo is on the line and wants to mod his internal CD-ROM drive to what? An external drive.
How dare he?
When we come back.
Stay here.
If we get to come back.
Yes, we will. I promise.
Ricardo joins us on the phone from Mount Pleasant, Idaho. How are you doing tonight, Ricardo?
I'm great, but it's actually Mount Pleasant, Iowa.
I'm so sorry.
That's okay.
Quick, fix that OH and turn it to an IA. Yeah. Watch how fast we can do this. These guys are pro.
Well, can
I've got an older laptop. It's a couple years old, but it didn't come with an internal CD burner. It just came with a CD drive.
Okay.
When I want to take an external CDRW extra that I have and put it as an external drive, or internal that I want to put as an external drive.
So basically, you got a CDRW, you want to put it into a case, something like this, and then you got to plug it into the notebook.
Yeah, and I was wondering which would be faster, the PC card slot or using USB?
USB, do you have USB ports on the system?
Yes.
How
USB
fast?
1.1.
Oh, no.
Well, it's a toss-up, right? So
Don't you think the PC card will be faster?
It should be faster. Because
you could get
32
SCSI
megabit per second, right, over SCSI or over a direct attachment to the external case.
Of course. How fast is the
CDRW?
Oh, it's a fast CDR. It's a 48x. It's a full speed. But I mean, obviously, I don't expect that speed. But I would like something.
You might be able to, depending on what you're trying to record, you might be able to get it over a PC card adapter.
You know how fast USB max, where it maxes out?
It says wasn't it rated for 12, but is it like 5 or 5?
Yeah.
Oh, 4.
Yeah. 4x burning,
and then
really slow.
1.5K times 48 would be a lot more than.
You can't. There's no throughput. Yeah. There's 12 megabits which is about 1.5 megabytes a second. But of course, there's overhead and so forth. So I've never seen a USB CDRW faster than 4x, and that's why.
Yeah.
So PC card, if you can do it.
PC card, you do a FireWire connection or a USB 2.0, but those are still going to be throttled by the bandwidth of the PC card.
And what did you say the bandwidth of the PC card is? 32?
I want to say 32 if it's card bus.
So, but that's still almost 3 times faster.
A lot better.
Hey, thank you, Ricardo.
Good questions. There we are. We're going to wrap up the show with a little chit-chat coming after this very quick break. Stay here.
Make sure you catch tomorrow's episode. The founder of 321 Studios is going to join us in studio. He's the guy who's being sued by the movie folks for his DVD copying software. He'll tell us what's really going on. Plus tech in the everyday life of red-haired Italian job star Seth Green.
Yeah.
And Jessica's weekly gadget report. She's been trying all week the SCP-8100 Sanyo cell phone with a picture camera in it, and she's going to give us a report on how she likes it. That's all on tomorrow's thrilling edition of the Screensavers. Jesse, you got time for one question.
One question. Well, first off, Yoshi's mom emailed. She really would like a JPEG picture of her son, so we need to do that.
Oh, we will.
The second one is from Steve. He says, is it possible to have 2 Internet Explorer shortcuts on my desktop that have different home pages?
Yes. Just drag them from the line down to the desktop and click on whichever one you want.
That's the best way to do it, yeah. You go to the page and drag it on there.
That's it for this edition of the Screensavers. I'm Patrick Norton.
33 megabytes a second for Cardbox. I'm Leo Laporte. Thanks for joining us. Thanks to our guests, Bunnie, Huang, and Bertman Roy. Have a great night. We'll see you later. Bye-bye.